The future of work and leadership always starts with us. Welcome to the Dr. Ginny Show. Let's dive in. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to the Dr. Ginny Show. I am getting ready to present for one of my partners, McKinsey and Company. I am one of their external leadership coaches, and we host a cohort of executive Hispanic Latinos who are on their way to ascension. And as I prepare, I thought I'd come on with you and share a bit of what I'm going to do later on this year in my TED Talk, where I'm going to focus on unlocking potential. So I wanted to give you a preview, and at the same time, I want to serve you. Serve you by giving you what I am going to really dive into in as long as 20 minutes max in October when I deliver my TED Talk. Because as you can see, it's already the last month of the first quarter of the year. So depending on when you listen to this, right now as I'm recording it, is going to be the last month of the first quarter. And I know many of us have plans and dreams and aspirations. And I've been helping my members that are part of our monthly Visionary Leaders Circle and the members in our Elevate Her program and all the programs that we have, like private coaching. I've been helping my clients get very clear on what are their targets for 2025. Because if you've been around the block like we have, many of us have, you know that before we know it, we'll be looking at the end of the year and then wondering what happened this past 12 months. So to avoid being in a place where you haven't achieved what you set out when you started, I want to make sure that we stay on track. And Tony Robbins, one of my mentors, always says, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 5. So with that in mind, let me take you through the 3 key points that I'm going to hone in when I deliver my TED Talk. The first point is, for us to create a career that we're proud of and feel fulfilled by, and for us as companies to know that we are moving the needle, especially if we're speaking about talent development, we must get a target. What is our goal? The tangible results that we want to see at the end of 12 months. I'll give you an example. When I had my New Year planning session with one of my mentors, Fabienne, I put on my plan that I wanted to create my programs to be open enrollment. That was one of my primary goals, because in that way, whenever one of my partners or organizations wants to send one of their leaders, women, to our program, or if I wanted to do obviously private coaching, I can start anytime, but any of the programs that I have a group or cohort involved, I want to make sure that at any time during the year, they can enroll in that program rather than having to wait for September or January, which was my traditional start date. So that was one of my goals. And guess what, my friends? Because I have that down on paper and it's a clear goal for me, quantifiable, I, as of today, can say that my team and I have been working diligently to ensure that our Elevate Her program, which is our 6-month leadership training for women and leaders in mid to senior levels looking to advance and grow and gain critical leadership skills, is now open enrollment as of the 31st of the month. So yay for us. Similarly, the bridge to claim your seat sprint, it's a kickstart program. It's a gateway program for people who aren't quite ready to invest 6 months of time into Elevate Her, but yet they want that kickstart to get clear on their vision, cultivate allies and a network of support, create a roadmap, and accelerate the path to success through sponsors. That's only 4 weeks. And as of last night, that program will also be open enrollment at the end of the month. So notice that by me getting clear on my targets, writing them down, I'm now checking them off because my team and I have a clear path forward, a roadmap of action. And that's what your target does. It allows you to gather the resources that you have, which we know time is scarce, our energy, our attention, our finances, we don't have unlimited resources. And so when we don't have a target, we have diffuse focus. And what happens is we end up spending time on things that are not high priority for us. This happens to us individually, and this happens to us as organizations. The way to avoid falling into that pitfall is to set a clear target. That's the first topic that I want to bring up to you today. The second topic that's extremely important, and it goes hand in hand with having a target, is that many times we don't have all the skills and resources we need to accomplish what we want to do. And so the question is, once you have your target, asking yourself, what resources will we need as a company? What resources do I need as a person to achieve the target? And I'll give you another example. One of my personal targets for this year is to learn French. Simple as that, to continue learning French. So how am I going to do that on my own? I have Duolingo. So with Duolingo, I practice my grammar, my reading, and my speaking. So the tool that I need to get the skills is Duolingo in this case. And there's many others that I've heard great things about. So what are the tools and skills that you will need? One of my priorities in 2025 is to continue to develop the Alpha board. Alpha stands for the Association of Latino Professionals for America. And in that capacity, I'm responsible for ensuring that all the board members, including directors, are developed throughout the year. Recently, I delivered one of my trainings for the directors on executive presence, influence, and impact. Now, they are looking to develop executive presence. That was one of their top topic for the year. So how can they do that? Well, to be able to do that, they relied on my training. So that was the resource that they needed to understand what is their executive presence, what are some of the components, and how do they develop that executive presence so they can influence the outcomes in their organizations and within Alpha. And so, what are the skills that you and your team and your company will need to develop in 2025 and beyond? And what skill sets and resources can support you in acquiring those skills? For many of us, AI is the rave, and our organizations are adopting AI. As we look at our careers and functions, we must be asking ourselves the questions, how can I leverage AI to work smarter, faster, and better? Rather than running away from it or hiding from it to avoid it, let's get clear, how can I leverage it? What are the tools that are out there that I can use to do my job better, faster? And if we do that, we will get ahead of the curve instead of be hit by the wave and get knocked down and swallow some water. If you've ever been at the beach and you get swooped by a wave. So that is the second point that I want to leave you with. The third one is, what about getting unstuck? Here's what I mean by this. We may have the best intentions in the world to develop ourselves, to grow, to improve our public speaking, to develop executive presence, to understand our personal brand and build it and strengthen it. We Go ahead and look for the resources that are available to help us do all those things. And then the getting unstuck part comes in when we realize that even though we want to do those things, there's something holding us back. I'll give you an example for me, and I'm going to be very vulnerable with you. One of my goals this year is to increase my B2B business, to scale my B2B business. And what that implies is that I need to be reaching out to my network regularly. And if I told you that I'm not hesitant to do that, I will be lying. How come I'm hesitant to do that? Well, there's some beliefs that I have around doing that. And so I looked for support from my coaches, my business coaches, to help me identify what is behind the resistance to reach out and instead get very clear on how I will contribute to my partners and the people that I reach out within my network. And when I do that and I get clear on my why does this matter to me, and the impact that I want to have, and the mission that I have to impact the lives of over 1 million women and leaders who are looking to claim their next leadership seat and create a fulfilling career and life for themselves and their teams because they're going to amplify their impact, that immediately helps me get unstuck. Is it easy? It isn't. It's a practice. I must constantly remind myself of my why. Why is this important to me? What matters to me about doing this? And ultimately, what is the impact that I want to have? And what am I not doing by getting in my own way? So when we open up the curtains of ourselves, we look ourselves in the mirror honestly and face our fears, face our limitations, face those stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves, and question what's behind that, then we are getting real with ourselves and we get to figure out what's keeping us, quote unquote, stuck. One of the processes that I learned to use is one by Byron Katie, who, as you know, is the person who said, life, things are happening for you, not to you. And Tony Robbins, of course, made that phrase very famous. Byron Katie was the author of that phrase. Similarly, she also has something called inquiry. If you want to look it up, it's called inquiry. An inquiry is about asking yourself when you have this limiting belief, is it true? Is it really true? Is it possible that I am misconstruing the facts? And then the question is, what would happen if I didn't believe this thought that I'm having? How would I show up if I didn't believe this thought? And when you look at your limitations from that perspective, it really opens up the possibilities that perhaps it was my interpretation or the meaning I am giving to reaching out in my example that is keeping me from doing it. And similarly for you, there could be a fear, a story, a trauma that we haven't dealt with, of an experience we had with someone in the past, and we are projecting those traumas and experiences into the future. I say this with love and compassion because I know we're all on a journey. So as we face these monsters, as I call them, these green monsters, we give ourselves the freedom to get unstuck. And when you combine these 3 points that I'm sharing with you of setting a target for yourself and your company, of identifying the skills. So get a target, get the skills, and get unstuck. Figure out what's keeping you, your company, your team from moving forward. When we do these 3 things, we are unleashing and unlocking the potential of our people, your personal potential, your team's possibilities, and you are opening up a highway of opportunities and possibilities. And we have all of this under our control. These are the things that, unlike the wanting to change people or wanting people to be a certain way, unlike that, the three things that I'm mentioning are totally under your sphere of influence. And so I'm going to leave you with that today. And I'm going to invite you that if you as an individual or as an organization would like to sit down with me and have a discovery session about, Ginny, what would it look like for me to set my target, get the skills, get unstuck so that I can move forward, that we set up a complementary strategy session. It'll be a one-on-one time with me, really unpacking what are your challenges, what is your 12-month vision, which is your target, and what's getting in the way, so we can get you unstuck and moving forward. So your group, your department, you as a leader, as a senior leader, can say, here's what we're doing this year. Here's how we're going to get over the potential challenges that we see, the boulders in our way. And as an individual, so that 12 months from now, you can say to yourself, wow, this is what we set out to do. And here's what we accomplished. And if we do that every single year, in 5 years, you're going to have more done than you would have if you left it up to chance. When we leave things up to chance, we are betting. We are going to the slot machines and we're pulling the lever. So we don't want to leave things to chance like that. Our life, our careers, our teams, our results, our impact are way, way too significant for us to accept that. So if that's you, let's connect. Visit callwithginny.com and we will set up a time for us to meet soon. Lead with purpose, lead with joy. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you enjoyed today's content, I appreciate your review so others can find us, and share it with your friends. And to stay in touch, join our community to receive valuable strategies and expert advice at drginnybarrow.com. See you soon.